Hey guys, so Mark Allred here, going to talk about the SP-404, the SX. I've been delving into this and I'm an absolute newbie. Let me get all that out of the way. I am no master, I am no expert. I am just been having a lot of fun with this lately. These last couple of weeks, I dug deep into it again. I found it a couple of years ago and just added it to my arsenal of audio tech stuff that I have, and recently I've just been really interested in getting back to it. So I made a little video the other day, and there was one comment that said, "Hey, which side we want to put on? Put on this one. Can you show how you did that?" So I'm going to dig deep and just show you how I recently kind of remixed a track that I like and added a bunch of samples from movies and old school songs that I really liked and kind of made a remix of my own. That was really fun. So I'm going to show you that today. Again, go ahead and let the trolling begin. There's going to be better ways and faster ways to do this, I'm sure, than how I'm going to show you, but I'm just going to show you how I did it, and I'm sure that as I progress in this, I'm going to get a lot better. So if you're starting out, hopefully this is helpful, and if you're a master, be gentle in the comments. So let's get started. Main thing you need to have is you need to have in your line out when you get set up for your SP-404 goes to whatever audio source that you're going to be stealing stuff from, whether it's your laptop or your desktop, plugging into that. So from your line in has to plug into your laptop. Now, I started just thinking any audio source is something that I want to consider as a sample, right? So these are the samples I took.
Reggae? Oh, reggae!
Yes, sir, the check is in the mail.
Wax on, wax off.
So I went and took those from Spotify, from Netflix, from Amazon Prime, and just sampled favorite movies and favorite songs of mine. This is the one I did before, so I'm going to show you how to do that again with a new kind of idea. So the first thing I would do is go find a song that you love, and so I'm going to use the same track I used in the last video, which is an Elevators reggae band. This track. It's called The Squeeze. It's kind of more of an instrumental, which makes it fun because then you can like input samples with speaking and lyrics and words, which makes it easier to hear those things. So I'm going to use that for today. So I just went to Spotify and recorded it to here, and I'm going to show you how to do some of those other things as well. But we're going to start at that baseline. And then I'm going to show you how to like snag a couple samples. So the three samples I want to do today. The first one is I recently saw a video of Elon Musk being interviewed by Tucker Carlson, and Elon had his son on his lap, and his son said something that, if you have children, I'm sure that your children have repeated things that you've said and embarrassed you in public. I know that I've done that. I've said things in front of my children and they've repeated it in public and I've been embarrassed. And that's what I think this clip is of Elon's son saying this.
We're in SpaceX and quietly just do whatever we want.
So I have external source turned on so you can hear YouTube, right? And so his little son said, "Hey, we're SpaceX and we're just going to quietly go about and do whatever we want to do."
We're in SpaceX and quietly just do whatever we want.
That's a fantastic, that's whatever you think, I don't care. That's just a fantastic quote to hear your child say that in public. And that's probably something you said in your quiet voice and he said in his outside voice.
We're in space.
So I'm going to cue that up kind of where I want it. I want to record that to pad 5. I'm in bank E, so I'm going to record that to bank 5. I've already got my track that I want to use in bank 1, so I want to make these easily accessible here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push record. I want it to go to bank 5. And now when I hit record, it's going to start recording. So I have it queued up already on YouTube. External source, line in is coming from my computer. So I'm going to hit record on YouTube and on the 404 at the same time.
We're in SpaceX and quietly just do whatever we want.
So as soon as you hit record on the 404, it stops recording. So let's see what I got on a pad 5.
We're in SpaceX.
Okay, got it. You can hear there's a little bit of a gap from when I hit from when the speaking starts.
We're in.
I don't like that. I want to trim that, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So it's about, let's count it.
We're in.
It's a little less than 1 second.
We're in.
So what I want to do is I want to mark it. So I'm going to hit 5, and then as soon as I think that it's going to start, I'm going to hit mark.
We're in space.
All right, now mark is on, so
We're in.
that's what I want. Okay, so how do I trim that front part off? I'm going to push delete, select pad 5. And I want it to only trim and truncate that front part, because if I were to hit delete again, it would delete the whole pad. I just want it to truncate and trim off that front part. So I'm going to push mark, and now delete, and it's going to truncate. So now I have
Orange space
exactly what I wanted. Okay. So in that same vein, I also grew up with Cartman from South Park.
I'm a cop, and you will respect my authority.
Too funny, putting those two things together, right? We're in SpaceX, quietly going to go about and do whatever we want to do, and Musk's kid and Doge.
And you will respect my authority.
You would. Those are too good together. So I'm going to queue up.
And you will
So I want to get that right where he says.
You will.
Okay, so I'll give it a little bit of space so I can trim it if I need to. Okay, so I want to put that in bank 5. So record to pad 6. So I'm going to hit record and then that at the same time.
And you will respect my authority.
Okay, let's see what we got.
And you will.
Okay, I've got another little bit on the beginning I want to trim off.
And you.
It's a little more than 1 second.
And you.
Okay, so I'm going to...
What's up, guys?
I don't want that. Okay, so...
And you will. And you. And you. And you.
Perfect. Okay, so mark, pad 6, push delete. I want to truncate and trim pad 6. Now I'm going to push mark and delete. Now it's truncated and trimmed it.
And you. And you.
Love it.
orange
We're SpaceX. You will respect my authority. All right. And wow, these lined up better, like thematically better than I thought. I wasn't trying to put these together. I just thought that they were cool. Now I want to go to Beastie Boys Sabotage. And I love that kind of like tail end of their... Listen all y'all, it's a sabotage. Put it about there. Okay, so now the audio on this might not be as clear as I want.
orange
And you.
Those are pretty loud and pretty clear. The sabotage might not be that clean. So I want to record pad 7, and then here we go. Boom, let's see what I got. Okay, cool. I like how long that went. There's a little bit of the gap. How long is that? It's about 1 second, so I'll go. No, it's not long enough. So if you want, after you mark it, if you want to undo the mark, you got to hold down the pad and hit mark again, and it'll undo the mark. So 1. It might have been 2. That's good enough. I like that. Okay, so now I've got it marked. Delete. Pad 7. Delete again. Oh, crap. I did it wrong. Okay, we got to fix that. Let's try. I think it's at 224 in the track. Sabotage. Yeah, 224. So, okay, so I want to record pad 7. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so we need to trim it. I did it too fast. Still, I don't like it. That's good. At least you get the sound from the actual, like, instrumental. Okay, so I want to delete 7, mark, delete, truncated. Got him. Okay.
orange space
And you will
Love it. Okay. So now let's talk about effects. So what I would do is I would play my track, right? So go back to the original thing I'm going to do.
orange
and you.
So that's how I would play. I have all my samples. I have the track I want to play with. But while I'm playing that, I also want to do some effects to remix it and mix it up, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you kind of like the 3 effects that I like to play with the most right now. And that's my limitation. I don't know how to use all of them really well, but I feel like I know how to use 3 of them really well. I like to use the isolator up front. The isolator is something that kind of sounds like an 80s boombox for me, or like old school 80s, 90s headphones that I could hear my friend doing. So I like to use that. What I'll do is I'll start the isolator at the beginning of a track usually, or somewhere in the middle of a track. and then slowly turn the volume down as it goes through the phrase, and then on the downbeat, kick it back up, take the isolator off. Something like this. So I'll usually do the isolator to where, I have my red is all the way at like a 7 o'clock. My yellow is at, either way, they're at opposite ends. Whatever these are, I like to make them opposites. And then the green, I like to use it at 7 o'clock. So here's the track. Put the isolator on. Slowly turn it down. Wait for a killer downbeat to kick it back into normal. 1, 2. Right? That's how I like to use the isolator. Slowly turn it down and then kick it back into full volume without the effects on it. Okay, delay. I like to use that. I'll set the effect level kind of at mid. I like to put the balance. Oh, I'm messing up the wrong one. Okay, now I'm on delay. I like to put the balance at 12 o'clock, the effect at 12 o'clock, and then the actual delay, I like it 16 dotted. Is kind of what I like. So those are what I like to do, and that's when I kick in the delay. So if we put the track, let's put the track on. And you got to play with the downbeat, or just a beat. Right, so that's how I like to use the delay. Isolator delay, and then the MFX is the one that I've really been enjoying the most lately, because I feel like that's what changes the track the most. Because I feel like you can like change and cut up and splice it live as it's performing. So for the MFX, I'm using the BPM looper, number 24. Put it on 24. And then I'll put cut off the red at about, between 12 and 1 o'clock for the length. And I'll put the resonance, I think I'm usually putting that at a 7, kind of at a 0, 7 o'clock, 0. And then the drive, the green, that's the one you're going to be playing with, right? Because it's in the off position when it's about at 11. And then on the downbeat, I try to crank it all the way to a 3, hold it for a second, and then throw it back to 11. And you'll get what I mean. And again, you got to pay attention to the downbeat on how to use that. Got to turn it on. Lot of fun.
Oh, come on now.
Now, you can overdo it, right? It's got to be tasteful, but that's how I like to use it, to set it up. So using all of those pieces is what I did the last video with. Loading a song, loading some fun samples, messing around with your effects. So I'll show you kind of how I do the song. So I'll start with an isolator. Sorry, I'll probably start with the samples at the beginning of the song, because that's fun to just kind of cue those up and then use the samples anywhere you want throughout the song. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a try. Here's the song. Oh, one last thing. So what's going to happen, and it took me a while to learn this and it got really frustrating, is that when you're playing your track and you're able to affect your track, the song, when you try to use the samples, you no longer can affect your track with the effects. I kept going back and forth and clicking the buttons. I'm like, nothing is working. You have to use the remain button. So while I'm playing my song, let's do the isolator. Okay, now let's do a sample. Now the isolator won't work. Isolator won't work. Delay won't work. So what you have to do is you play your track, you affect it, cool, you switch over to samples. Now you can't use the effects again. In order to do that, you have to hit the remain button and then the track that's playing. And then you can begin to re-affect that track, right? Okay, all that said, I'll explain it as I do it. Let's do it from the top of the track. Isolator to the downbeat.
Orange space dash and quietly just do whatever we want.
And you will respect my authority.
sabotage wasn't
the
great.
funky love.
All right,
That funky,
let's do
funky,
some
funky
delay.
love. Fill my glass.
16 dotted.
Puff, 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 pass. She said, you know I'm crazy, baby.
Remain,
It's a crazy
track
life.
one.
I said,
Now
I
we
take
can
my
do it.
chances. So I rolled the dice, and she was sweet on the tongue like soda pop. I was swimming in the eyes, man, I couldn't stop. She had me home to a place. She took my hand, and we was kissing in the cab on Collins Ave. We were running in the streets, we were rolling in the sheets, and I believed everything she was talking about. She's too good to let it go, so fill my glass with that solid gold.
And you will respect my
Funky
authority.
love, non-stop, baby. It's too hot, baby. Hot.
And you will respect my authority.
Fade it out. Yeah, you see that I missed the remain and track thing at one point. Always got to stay on top of that. If you're going to bounce back and forth to your samples, you got to remember you've got to re-affect your effects to make that work, all right? So super short, super simple, not simple. It's got a lot of pieces to it, and it's a lot of fun. But the creativity part of it that I really like is I really like feeling like that I can put together pieces of, you know, nostalgic content or any kind of content that matters to me and find a song that I really like and mess with it. Use different effects, throw in samples.
And you will respect my authority.
Gordon Space, Gordon
And you
Space
will
Dax
respect my
is
authority.
finally
And
just
you will respect.
You know, those are so fun. I think the creativity that you can do with that is really interesting and exciting. All right. I'm sure that I could have done a lot better. I'm sure there's faster ways to do this, but it's a creative kind of artistic piece that's really fun. Hopefully that helps some folks who are just getting into this like me. I'm going to go dig and try to get smarter and share whatever tips and tricks that I learn as well. All right. See ya.